You are all set and ready to go.
Thank you. Good morning. It is February 19th, and this is the Human Community Services Committee meeting. I'm Ben Winograd, Chair, and I'll open up the meeting. Want to acknowledge presence of our council people, committee members Jason Wang and Lisa Lazarus. We also have on Tiffany McGinnis and John Lyons. I know that Barry is excused going to the Elmwood business. And one thing I do want to just point out, a reminder, we might want to look at changing our schedule on this we're coming up with that conflict every month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you would like to go there too. So
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about that. Remind me at the end. Let's have a discussion about scheduling. We also have on here our committee directors, Helen Rubino Turco and Laura Imsher. And of course, our town manager, Rick Ledwith. So can I start with a motion on to approve the minutes from last session?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. And let's move to committee reports. Ms. Turco.
Thank you, Mr. Winograd. My monthly report is attached with more information, but I just wanted to touch on a couple of items of interest. One is our Community Development Block Grant Program. So as you know, we annually receive funds from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And these CDBG program funds help us support programs for low and moderate income people, including our food pantry, the programs that we have been doing at the Hillcrest Area Neighborhood Outreach Center, and also primarily the housing rehabilitation program. And from time to time, we also fund, if available, outside agencies or nonprofits that may operate or support programs that support low and moderate income people. And that application has been posted. And we are, if funds allow, we would make small grants to different nonprofits that may be doing, for example, if they support low and moderate income people, but they need to do some physical renovations of their building, and we would consider supporting that. Or if they do programs, we would consider supporting those outside agencies. We have to balance the needs of programs that we have ongoing, and also we look at if it fits in with the priorities that were established in our 5-year annual action plan and then each year's annual plan. So just wanted to alert you that this application is online, and if people have questions, they can contact Luan Sika, who is the supervisor of the manager of these programs. There are going to be 2 public hearings where members of the public can ask questions, or organizations can ask questions about programs or questions that they might have as they're preparing their application. One is on Tuesday, February 24th, next week, and the second one is March 6th. So it's a Tuesday and a Friday coming up, and they're late in the afternoon, 3:30 to 4:30 in Luan's office. One of the highlights of our prevention activities is a youth leadership academy that was held in late January. 60 students from Hall and Conard received training in the auditorium here in Town Hall on mental health, substance use prevention, wellness recovery, and youth leadership. It was it held in conjunction with the Bridge and our 2 high schools, leadership from our 2 high schools. It was really well attended, and It was the second time we've held this, and it's organized by the team of part-time employees that we have that are working exclusively on prevention activities. So it was we were really pleased with that. Also, we held another substance-free event at the Veterans Memorial Skating Rink, and this again was involved with the bridge and student leadership, and that was also really well attended on February 6th. So I just want to shout out to our social services staff and our part-time staff that support these programs. Also, Amplify, which is our regional behavioral health action organization in the North Central region of our state, organized a suicide post-vention training, and that leadership of our high schools as well as social services and other agencies attended. And this is it was specifically targeted to what happens if there is a suicide in our community. What are our protocols, and how does the community answer the needs of our community in a crisis like that? So it was really a very well attended, important training that involved our police department, emergency management, fire department, as well as I said, different agencies in the region. In the area of leisure services, our summer camp registration went online on February 4th. We were very busy that day. Our day one total registrations were over 5,500, which was an increase from the previous year. A week later, on February 11th, we opened it up to non-residents or anyone, and we did get another bump on that day. So our summer camp registrations were quite brisk, but we still have room, and we were also able to accommodate people who were seeking scholarship funds to go to camp at a discount. Our spring and summer registration opened yesterday, the 18th. No, I can't even remember what day it is today. And that's for spring and summer programs. And then a week later, we will open it up for non-residents. We've also added a box on our registration, on our point of sale system, Rec Desk, where people can donate to help fund the scholarship fund. So help send a kid to camp, for example. So they might round up their registration funds, or they might just want to make a donation. But we now have that option. We've been trying to get it into the Rec Desk system for a while. We're happy to report that the donor box has been added to Rec Desk. I also wanted to alert everyone that the Veterans Memorial Skating Rink is going to be undergoing some extensive renovations starting on April 1st. The building was renovated in 2001 with the refrigeration system that keeps the ice cold. Has a lifespan of about 25 years, and you guessed it, it is time to replace it. So this is something we've been planning for. I want to compliment Peter Montezano, who's the facilities supervisor there, because he really changed the way that facility is run and managed. He anticipates things and fixes things before they break, which when you wait until something breaks, it costs a lot more to fix it because it's an emergency. So by planning ahead and doing regular maintenance, he's able to reduce the overall operating costs long term, and that's a really positive way to manage a facility, particularly one that's dependent on a refrigeration system that could go, that you have to watch carefully. So the new system that's going to go in, we're expecting that this is a 4-month installation. The contractors are all ready to go. And the system that they're going to put in, of course, is much more efficient, energy efficient, and efficient to run overall than the old system because it's newer and technology has improved. So we will hold summer camp there, but for the first number of weeks, there won't be ice skating. But the summer camp at the Buena Vista Recreation Camp, which is housed at the skating rink, also involves use of Cornerstone and fields and things in the area. So they should be fine. The activity, once the activity really gets started, it's mostly in the back of the house, so they will be able to use the lobby of the skating rink for activities and sort of being their home base. So we're looking forward to that. It should be concluded by the beginning of August. So it's a tight time frame, but they're ready to go. Two other items. One is our senior center was accepted, as you probably know, as an AARP age-friendly community, and they have a process that's a 5-year process to implement policies and procedures and changes and activities to maintain a certification as an age-friendly community. So we're very excited about that. It's going to start with a survey, so we'll probably see that in the coming months for people to remark on how they feel about our community. And as you know, the AARP recently named West Hartford as the #1 livable community in Connecticut. So we're very proud of that, but it also takes work and planning to make that come to fruition in the long term. And finally, I wanted to highlight that the West Hartford Urban Tree Canopy Study, which was completed last year, we had to do some editing of it with the company that we hired, but it is now complete and it's available on our website. If you search westhartfordct.gov/trees, it'll bring you to a new tree page that we've established. And it has information about different resources where you can find what kind of trees are in our local native trees species where you can find them. The University of Connecticut updates that list every year and provides it to the general public. So we have a link to that, as well as information about the Arboretum at Westmore Park, which you know is a level 2 Arboretum. It's the only one in the county and one of 3 in the state. And information about the Tree Action Group, how you can get involved, as well as some upcoming activities. So we do plan, as part of America 250, we are working with every public school to plant an American white oak on the grounds of every public school, as well as 9 parks. So we've identified 25 white oaks for the 250th anniversary. As you know, the white oak is the state tree of Connecticut, and has it's also like a all-you-can-eat buffet for migrating birds, and it also offers a lot of benefits for stormwater management because they have a root system, and they also grow quite large. So in terms of a carbon offset, they are very very strong, a very good component of cleaning our air. So the public school, the elementary science curriculum specialist that works for the Board of Ed is also working with us on developing a curriculum for an age-appropriate curriculum for K-5 to accompany this program. It ties in very neatly with grade 2 curriculum, but he's working on different support materials to complement this tree planting activity. And then the last item is that we are co-hosting with the library a lecture in March for a visit by Doug Tallamy, who is an expert in sustainable gardening. He's a professor at the University of Delaware in entomology and ecology, I think. So we're looking forward to that. It is sold out thanks to many of the partner organizations that are helping support it, including the Hartford Audubon, the West Hartford Garden Club, and other regional garden clubs. So there will be a live stream option, but we're very excited about that. And that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rubino Turco. Sorry for mangling your name earlier.
No problem.
Happens to me occasionally. Thank you. Any questions? And let me just note, Mayor Cantor is now is on the call as well. I'll get to you, Jason. Ms. Lazarus, I know you're off camera today. Do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you for asking.
Thank you, Councilor Wang.
Thank you, Chairman Winograd. Through you, Chairman, to Helen, or to Ms. Rubino Turco, sorry, I'm still figuring out the titles. To Helen, thank you so much. So the tree project, I actually didn't even, because I kind of like just saw it in the meeting minutes before this. So this is the final thing. This is the thing that we've been long awaited for. No more like revisions. This is the final report.
Chair, yes. So this canopy study provides a snapshot of tree coverage in 2010 and in 2023, and it documents the tree canopy loss during that time frame. The data shows that West Hartford canopy coverage experienced a sharp decline during this period of time. It went from 46% coverage in 2010 to a 37% coverage in 2023, which is about a 1/5 of its tree coverage. This is it was very dramatic. We suspected that we knew we were losing trees, but this was quite a call to action. And so this rate of decline does pose significant challenges for us. What we learned was we really focused, this tree canopy study focused on areas of town that the town has direct jurisdiction. So we excluded the MDC property and Elizabeth Park because we don't have any control over those two properties. They're governed differently. But the remainder, the West Hartford net boundary, they analyzed it through several methods, but we captured it by elementary school zone, because many times people say, well, where do you live? Well, I live in the Duffy district, or I live in the Aiken district. So we focused on slicing and dicing this data by elementary school, by zoning classification, residential versus business. We also looked at parks, individual parcels, and as well as census blocks. And as we discovered, the majority of the loss was on private property. Parks and schools fared better, but so that was where we studied. Then why did the loss happen? Obviously, over the last 15 years, there's been numerous challenges. Natural disasters. We had a number of memorable storms. We also had insect infestations that are coming through now. We've faced a prolonged drought during this period of time, and also the age of our trees are quite a problem, because when our town was developed, like my neighborhood is 100 years old, and a lot of pin oaks were planted, and they have a lifespan of 100 years. So we have to look at, when you go into a school grounds like Webster Hill, beautiful, lots of lovely trees, mature trees, but they're all old. So what we're looking for is, we need those middle-aged trees, we need those young trees, and we've already missed the boat. So we're behind, and we do have a lot of work to do. Also, things over the last 10 to 12 years was human activity development, right? Utility pruning. the cost of maintenance, the economics of maintenance, of tree maintenance and leaf pickup, and as well as the public perception that trees are a problem instead of an asset. And so we also haven't really been planting enough trees over the last, to recover from these storms, and the insects and the drought. So what is next is really what we needed, this canopy study, which is, yes, this is the final version. It has been posted, and it's simply a snapshot of time. What we're doing now is prioritizing where to plant, what to plant, and how to plant. So where to plant, now we're armed with this canopy data that identifies, where the most of the tree loss happened, and it basically happened everywhere, but mostly on private property. So we're building a strategy to address to address the loss, but also to plan for building a more resilient town. So short-term goals, first of all, would be the ongoing tree inventory that we're doing, right? Because we don't want to just go and plant all of the same tree. We want biodiversity, and that's what the inventory information is giving us. It's giving us what kind of trees we have and how old they are. So it tells us, this will help us determine biodiversity and longevity. Annual tree planting targets are something we're developing. Community education programs, engaging with some of our community partners like the West Hartford Tree Project, the Tree Canopy, the Tree Action Group, the West Hartford Garden Club, Friends of West Hartford Parks. These are all organizations that we can partner with to help educate our community. But we also have to partner with private homeowners and educate the community about why trees are an asset as opposed to a liability. And then we're also looking at some long range recommendations that may include, a tree management plan with our Public Works Department, a review of land use and development policies that may encourage, tree planting, and also some strategic investment to expand our tree planting. So what you'll see, for example, is setting aside a dollar amount per year to dedicate towards planting trees. And that's something that I'm working with the town manager with, but also with our public works and outside agencies. Now that we have the canopy study, we're also eligible to apply for grants that we weren't eligible for before, because they want to have a benchmark. So this is something that we would hope to replicate again in 10 years, and do another study, a follow-up study. And right now we're also working on trying to get these two, the 2010 coverage and then 2023 coverage, as an option, as a layer on our GIS map on our town website, so that residents can see for themselves what the change was and where it was. And then hopefully in 10 years, we'll be able to show where we've increased our tree canopy from today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Helen. I was kind of
Did you have another question, or?
Yeah, I do. May I ask it?
Sure.
Just a follow up. I was kind of astounded just flipping through that report this morning. Just some of the overhead photos of how much tree canopy loss we've experienced in our town. And it's not lost on me that we also recently, we no longer have a children's museum because of flooding. And, the tree canopy discusses impervious surface a lot. The study, the tree canopy study discusses impervious surface a lot. Land use, as you mentioned, Helen, this is a big issue. Is this going to be, I would strongly suggest that this goes, we have a full discussion at this for a future agenda, because this is, this report, I think we should all read it and come back and talk about it and maybe engage CPED. It's a serious problem, and we, as we all know, flooding is a real issue in our town, but also and other issues with climate resilience and just it's Can we? I don't know who I even direct this to. Maybe to town manager
We-
Ledwith?
I think we can talk about that, and I think in first step would be with the town manager. Obviously, we have the sustainability committee that does a lot of that work. But I think, yeah, probably a discussion with Mr. Ledwith would be helpful on that, and he can get you up to date on some of those efforts. I mean, I think sustainability generally. I mean, certainly every as a zoning authority, we're looking at that constantly. Every project that's been added has in fact reduced the amount of sort of water impact on flooding. It also includes, I think, in each case, additional trees as well, to the extent that we control things. Ms. Rubino Tucker.
I did want to mention, for example, in terms of policy and the work that's being done in West Hartford Center, the renovations of the center. Many people were aghast that trees were coming down on LaSalle Road, but when they stopped and understood that the plans included replanting more trees than were there and planting them the right tree in the right place, which is something that we're very much involved with educating our community. It's not just about planting a tree, it's about planting the right tree in the right place, is using Silva cells, which is a technology where trees can be planted and have water and area for their roots to grow, but planting different trees so they're not all the same tree. It's was well thought out, and that's an example of where we're taking new information and doing it right this time. And yes, it'll take a couple of years for those trees to grow up and make a more of an impact, but there'll be different sizes, there'll be different kinds of trees, so that if one tree is susceptible to drought or insects or something else, that tree might die, but the other ones will be vital. So I just want to compliment the planning that went into that as an example of things that we can do around town.
Thank you for that. And I always forget the name of those the tree wells, the cell technology. It was cool watching them get put in, but for some reason I can never remember what to call them. But Mr. Ledwith.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So certainly we did bring a draft of the report to the committee, but a previous committee, prior to the election. So what we could do is add this as an agenda item at an upcoming meeting for this committee. To your point, to Councilor Wang's point as well, it does touch a number of committees between Public Works, Facilities and Sustainability, and CPED. But also just to reinforce your comments, Mr. Chairman, it's as a council looks at every development that comes forward to them. Our council has been very thoughtful in terms of making final decisions in terms of approving or not approving a particular development or project. This topic is part of those decision-making, part of the decision-making process. I'll use 1800 as an example. That went through several wetlands hearings as well as the TPZ hearing process, and then ultimately coming before the council as well with a number of hearings. The tree canopy process or decision was very much at the forefront of the council's decisions in terms of approving that project. I mean, they were taking down a number of trees as part of that development, but essentially doubling the number of trees that they would replant over the course of both 1700 and 1800. So it is something that we do plan for very thoughtfully. It's addressed at several levels, and we'll continue to do so. But in terms of back to my original point of bringing that final report back, we can do another presentation to this committee and certainly do a crossover with our other committees as well.
Yes, please.
Excellent.
I think the photographs and the report illustrates the urgency that we talk about this and dedicate some real time to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Not seeing any hands on my limited screen. We'll move over to the library report. Ms. Ermshire.
Morning. Excuse me. Happy to be with you all this morning. I submitted my report with some highlights of our recent programs and activities in the library, and there's a few things that I wanted to talk with you about this morning. First up is Sunday hours. This Sunday, February 22nd, we'll begin Sunday hours again at the Noah Webster Library. We'll be open from 1 to 5. This will go for 10 Sundays through May 3rd. And we have we're limited to 10 Sundays based on our current budget, and we have played around a little bit with the timing. We had started them a little earlier in the winter and found that more people tend to stay home in January and not use the Sundays as much. So we have shifted them to February to May. So we are excited to have folks in 7 days a week. And you may be hearing more from me about Sunday hours as we think about next year's budget. The library is hosting our Winter Madness book tournament. This is something we've been doing for a few years now. We have selected 32 books that represent some of the most popular books read last year and split them up into 8 categories. We are encouraging voting both online and in person, so everyone can pick their favorite book of the year. We're currently in the Elite 8 round. If you have been in Noah Webster, you might have seen we have a very large bracket board set up by the reference desk, and it's very fun every 2 weeks to see the books that have made it to the next round. It's a good talking point. We get a lot of attention, and it sparks a lot of fun conversations with patrons that come in about what they thought about what books advanced or why their favorite book didn't make it. We're also having a fun staff competition where we get a little trophy if we were able to accurately guess the best book in West Hartford. And this tournament turned into a really fun result last year. The winning book was God of the Woods by Liz Moore, and she ended up becoming our West Hartford Reads author. And she was a little bit out of our price range, but we told her that the entire community had voted her book the best, and we were able to get her to come down and come to West Hartford for us. So we're hoping for maybe some similar magic this year, but regardless, it's a fun competition, and I encourage everybody to check it out and vote for their favorite book. Excuse me. I wanted to tell you about a proposed budget cut in the governor's budget that could potentially affect our library. And this is about the Borrow It program that is run through the state library. So just to briefly tell you, Borrow It is the program that allows any resident outside of West Hartford to check out books from our library. So in Connecticut, you have to have a library card from your home library where you live, but once you have that card, you can use it at any other library in Connecticut. And this is under a statute that we all participate in this program, and we get a reimbursement for it. So our library, about 9% of our checkouts are to residents outside of West Hartford, and we get a reimbursement for that. Last year, we got about $15,000, and that is money that we use to supplement a lot of what we do. We add to our collections. We've been able to use it to pilot some new programs, like when we added Switch games and the incredibly popular Tony boxes. We also used it last year to replace our meeting room chairs that were a few decades old. And I think people will really appreciate having some comfortable new chairs. So this is funding that we're able to do with things that are a little bit outside of our routine budget. It's really important to us. And so the proposed cut is to cut this program by 20%. So that's the entire program. I'm not sure how much that would trickle down to West Hartford, but also the fear is that if this program is cut, other libraries may not participate because they need this funding in order to justify loaning materials to residents outside of their towns. And it only works if we all work together. So there was an appropriations committee meeting on Tuesday. I submitted some written testimony to that. Several other library directors did. I've contacted our local legislators and heard back from a few, letting them know how this would affect our library. There has been some press coverage about the cuts too. So I wanted to put this on your radar to make you aware and make sure you understood that the statewide program does affect our residents. And just kind of a note about our circulation. Last year, we loaned over 500,000 items. These are physical items, not even counting ebooks. We are the highest circulating library in the state for physical items. And this, just a fun little stat, this translates into 123 checkouts per hour that we're open. So we do good business with books. About 73% of our checkouts are books, although we have a lot of other materials. So when you look at how people use libraries, how they check out our books, programs like Borrow It are really important for us. And I'm hoping that the cuts do not go through to the budget. I wanted to highlight a few programs for you that happened. We had Take Your Child to the Library Day. This is something that happens the first Saturday in February, and this year was the 15th annual event. This is a program that started at a library in Connecticut and is now happening at thousands of libraries across the country. And it's a celebration and a reminder of how much fun it is to take your child to the library. So a lot of libraries participate by offering free, fun, fabulous activities for families. It's the core of what we do, but it's a way to highlight and band together and show people what a great opportunity is to come to the library. Our day was very busy. This was a day of snow, so we opened a little bit late, but we had people coming in as soon as the doors were open. We had some drop-in story time, scavenger hunts. We signed people up for new library cards. We checked out books. It was a fun day, and it's always great to see the children's room packed. And just kind of a note on library usage, with the string of cold days we've actually had a lot of people coming into the library as a way to stay warm, get out, maybe being a little stir crazy in their house or being so cold. Last week, I popped into the children's department. Actually, it was earlier this week, and we had over 90 people in the children's department. And this wasn't even a program. This wasn't any routine thing. It was just people using the library, and every inch of that floor was being used, from the baby room all the way up through the tweens. So it's just wonderful. I think we do a lot of great programs and events, and I love telling you about them, but it's great to just see the daily usage of the library and how we're here for the community when they need us. And then I wanted to let you know about our activities around technology assistance. So we know that there is a huge need for people who want to better understand technology, whether they are struggling to understand their devices, or they have maybe some basic understanding, but then they run into a problem and aren't really sure where to go. And that's something that we handle those questions one-off all the time at the library, but we know that sometimes they can take some time and people want some one-on-one assistance. Last year, we tried out technology classes, and there was some mixed success, but what we found was that each person's needs tend to be unique, and one-on-one attention is much better than a class setting. So we do have one-on-one technology help at the Faxon Library. This is a program that's run by volunteers. We have it based on appointment Wednesday evenings and Thursday afternoons. Folks can sign up. We ask them to tell us what their need is so that we can prepare the volunteers. A lot of things we get are how to set up a smartphone, how to navigate apps, some basic computer skills. A lot of times people will be signing up for something online and they'll need to attach a document or do like a next step. And so we can walk them through how to do that. So this is a great opportunity for people who need that assistance. We also have online classes. Sometimes once we work with folks, we can kind of get through the fear and the misunderstanding of it, then they get really interested in how to make it work more. So we have some online classes that people can use for self-paced or tutorials. Those are technology-based, but then there's also a lot of there's crafts and hobbies and business and job searching. So that's another great resource people have. And just a reminder that everything that we do is free. So those are the things that I wanted to highlight for you, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Great report. I appreciate that and appreciate all the work. And thanks for the update on the legislation. We'll definitely helpful to get that on the radar as we talk to legislators and see about that program. I want to add one to your report. Just a speaker that's quite a good get for March 3rd is Henry Graber. coming in to talk about paved paradise, his How Parking Explains the World. It's a hot topic, obviously, and he's sort of real national star. So that's quite a good pickup to get him, and that should be an interesting presentation. So just wanted to give you the shout out on that one. Just saw that. I'm like, okay, we'll be there. And I'm sure Jason will be there as well, or at least we'll talk about it. So
I will absolutely be there. And
make
parking
sure you sign up
explains
for
tree
that.
canopy loss and flooding as well, by the
There you
way.
go. And sign up. That one will probably sell out. So do we have any questions? Again,
I
I'll
have a
call Lisa.
question.
Go,
Oh, thank
please.
you. Thank you. Through you, Chair Winograd. Thank you for that report. I have a question about the legislation that you were talking about earlier that's going to impact the budget. Do you have any recommendations for how we can help mitigate or address those um, upcoming adverse impact on your budget?
Thank you, through you, Chairman. So my hope is that the cuts don't go through. So I think our first action is to make sure that the legislator and the governor understand how important this program is. And it's in the scheme of things, I think it's a relatively small amount of money. It's $140,000 that they are proposing to cut from the budget. But in the library world, we do so much with that money. So it's really important for us to have it. So I would say the first step is working with anyone in the legislature to make them understand how important this program is, how much we use it at our library, at libraries across the state. We have a lot of people who use our libraries who are not West Hartford residents. They work in town, they come and visit and shop here. We want to make sure we can serve everybody who comes into our library. So I would say the first step is just trying to make sure people understand the program and why we need it. And then if the cuts do come through, that would just be an impact on our operating budget, because there are things that our budget doesn't cover we're able to do with those funds. And so we would have to see, if the cuts do come through, how does that impact kind of the extra services or the extra things that we do that we would have to pull back from. Does that answer your question?
I understand we're in an ambiguous state, so that's fine. That works. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lazarus. Any other questions? Mr. Wang?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chairman, to Library Director Ermshire. Thank you so much. How much as a, I have two little kids. It's freezing cold. We go to the library. The Sunday hours are incredibly valuable for us. It's one of the few kind of non-commercial spaces in the center of our town for children. How much does providing each individual weekend cost the town? Thank you.
Through you, Chairman, unfortunately, I don't have that figure at my fingertips, but I can get that for you. It's a combination of salaries and the various programs and services we run, but I will get that information for you.
I do think that type of topic will come up during our budget discussions, where the departments will, present a full budget for the year, and including hours, which are certainly for the library really one of the main drivers of sort of any variation in cost. I think have often been the issue both up and down. But I think Mr. Ledwith, I do believe we added Sunday hours. I mean, it had been cut back. This is an expansion of what we had. I know when I got on, we had lost some hours, and I know we've been.
Yeah, this is through you, Mr. Chairman, a topic very passionate for Laura. So, and we've had several discussions already leading up to our budget proposal for FY27. And Laura, as always, gets very creative. Last year we've was a tough year, as most years are, but has already started working on some creative solutions to expand what we've been doing. And to Councilor Wang's point, it is something that is important to our residents as well. So we'll do it again. We'll be before you in very short order, just a couple of weeks away. But this will be part of our conversation as we move into March. So thank you.
All right, great.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
May I just make a really quick comment?
Sure.
Okay, one more just comment through you, Mr. Chairman, to Library Director Ermshire. I did see that the Library Board has taken up the vulnerable child policy, so I really appreciate that. I think that will be great.
Thank you. With that, those are our reports. We did discuss the future agenda items and looking at the next version of the report we already talked about. With that was I forget the name of it now, Rick. The one you mentioned the report that we looked at back in October.
The tree canopy study.
Tree canopy, right? Yeah. No. And we can certainly look at that again. With that, I think we've finished with our business. So without objection, the meeting's adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Good night.